So everyone's following the Liver King these days, and they think they just need to eat like the ancestors did. But what if I told you that soil magnesium is down 80 to 90%? And if you want any meaningful amount, you're going to have to supplement it yourself. Today we're going to be talking about one magnesium product, but we're going to be stressing really the usage of magnesium overall. Revive's Magnesium Glycinate is definitely one of our favorite magnesium versions. It's probably the best single ingredient sleep product that you can get without talking about controversial stuff like melatonin. But there's a lot of different things about this product that really drive home athletic performance, overall health, and a way to keep up with the times while our soil is becoming so useless, honestly. I know that these videos, when we talk about electrolytes or single ingredients, more health style stuff, aren't as interesting, but if there's one thing that I could recommend to younger athletes or athletes that are still learning, spend some time on these videos and learn about your body, how it works, how it uses these nutrients. This could likely make a large difference on your livelihood or your performance. So without further ado, let's jump in on Magnesium Glycinate from Revive. Now, like I mentioned before, our soil is not as useful as it used to be. Modern agricultural techniques don't really take in soil cycles into thought when they're planning how they run their farms. And so they don't remineralize topsoil, and this leads to drops in magnesium and other minerals. And since most of us are not in a position to be growing our own crops and creating these things ourselves, most of the food that we're going to be eating is going to be devoid of the minerals and nutrients that we normally would be looking to get in them. And so if you're going to ask me, well, should I be supplementing magnesium? It's almost absolutely a yes. There are a few nutrients out there that we 100% stress that people should be supplementing, like vitamin D, creatine, some electrolytes, and specifically magnesium is one that we talk very often about. Now, a 2017 meta-analysis, magnesium supplementation was shown to significantly improve the symptoms of anxiety commonly associated with magnesium deficiency. Magnesium deficiency is very widespread in the United States, at least. And so today we want to look at magnesium glycinate, which is a uniquely effective supplement as compared to other magnesium. So I'm going to be treating it as a two-part product. Even though magnesium glycinate technically is one ingredient, we're going to be talking about the magnesium and the glycine to kind of explain how these two come together and what the two different benefits are going to be there. So the 2 capsule dosage, you get 1,000 milligrams of magnesium glycinate. This is going to be 200 milligrams of elemental magnesium. Elemental meaning that's the yield of that electrolyte. The rest of that the other 800 milligrams is going to be mostly glycine. Now, the amino acid is bound to glycine, and then 800 milligrams is not a small amount. We're actually going to be talking about glycine as a whole, how it helps out here. A lot of times we don't talk about that carrier as an active ingredient, but this amount, there is enough that we can talk about it. It does offer quite a few benefits. Now, the main reason for binding magnesium to glycine is that glycine is a great delivery vehicle. We're not very good at absorbing electrolytes on their own. That's why you'll see chelated magnesiums like this or other electrolytes. It kind of helps trick the body Trojan horse style into getting it in and then absorbing it better. Quite often amino acids are used for this. You see, like I said, chelated minerals are often going to be using amino acids to trick the body. You'll also see this for like nitrates. You'll see amino acids being used to trick the body into absorbing those. Now, glycinated minerals have a higher bioavailability than pure or free minerals. In one study, magnesium glycinate specifically was found to have a much higher bioavailability than magnesium oxide, and we basically never recommend oxide. It's just a trash version, but this is going to be a better version than that. Now, we'll get into the glycine a little bit later. I first want to talk about magnesium. It's definitely what you're here for. If you're deficient in magnesium, you can expect to have elevated levels of stress, anxiety, fatigue, and this is mostly because magnesium is regulating neurotransmitter function in the brain. Adequate amounts of magnesium are also crucial for proper sleep. So that's kind of a second part. If you're not sleeping well, you're going to again be more stressed out. In fact, in 2015, one study showed low magnesium intake was associated with a 22% increase in risk of depression among people under the age of 65. Several peer-reviewed papers have shown that magnesium supplementation can significantly improve duration and quality of human sleep. That's why you see it in ZMA products, you see it in a lot of sleep products. You see people using products called Calm, powdered magnesium out there. But specifically, we want to talk about this one because it's a very good version, a very high bioavailability for you to use. Now, the mechanism of action by which supplementing magnesium helps out with sleep is going to be due to its cortisol lowering effects. It's going to help normalize sleeping patterns for a human. Another study actually showed that magnesium intake was correlated inversely, meaning the opposite, with a person's midpoint of sleep, meaning that the people with the high intake of magnesium go to bed earlier than those with low intake. Now, magnesium is used as a cofactor for over 600 different metabolic processes in the human body. There's a lot of different things that it's involved in. If we got into all of them, it would be a much longer video. However, previous studies have shown that magnesium can potentially interact with a few different things that I'll list off for you guys. These aren't going to be things that I get deep into, but it's worth noting that it helps out with reducing blood pressure, lowering HbA1c and blood sugar levels, lowering fasting insulin levels, increasing insulin sensitivity, lowering the risk of type 2 diabetes, increasing bone density, reducing PMS symptoms, improving lactate clearance during and after exercise. It's a big one for athletes. Increasing muscle mass and power, again, big one for athletes. Reducing blood levels of C-reactive protein and blunts its effect. Lowering levels of pro-inflammatory interleukin 6. Protecting against muscle damage during endurance exercises, preventing and reducing migraine attacks, and acutely relieving an ongoing migraine attack. Clearly, this is an essential mineral that you should be getting into your body. Now, why does it work though? The big picture on magnesium works is that it's an inhibitory compound. Magnesium actually inhibits nerve activity, thus calming them down. In fact, magnesium is actually used at an elevated rate during exercise. So a lot of athletes are going to be deficient in it because they're running through it so much. Most athletes are not going to be replacing that very efficiently. Now that we understand magnesium, let's talk about the amino acid that is bound to get it into the body, glycine. Now, glycine is something, if you ever watch any of Mike's sleep videos, he loves talking about glycine. It's one of his favorite ingredients for sleep products. It totally makes sense. But why is it so beneficial? Well, 12% of the body's total amino acid stores consist of glycine. That's a huge amount. Glycine is used in protein synthesis, including proteins, collagens, and elastins, which are used to make the body's various connective tissues. This is something that we don't talk about enough, but we're all very concerned about creating more muscle. We're not usually very concerned about creating stronger tendons and connective tissues to support those muscles. This is why meats rich in glycine tend to be firmer cuts. Now, when it comes to glycine and sleep, like I mentioned, in one 2006 study, subjects were given glycine to take before bedtime for 4 days. And at the end of that study period, the researchers gave subject a questionnaire designed to quantify subjective feelings like fatigue, clear-headedness, or liveliness and peppiness. A lot of these things are very subjective, obviously. But compared to the control group, those who took glycine reported better sleep quality, and they had significantly more energy upon waking. Another study the next year in 2007, using a randomized single-blind crossover study where 11 volunteers received either 3 grams of glycine, you can use pretty large dosages of it, or a placebo before bed, showed subjects who took glycine had better satisfaction with their sleep, they fell asleep faster, and had less difficulty falling asleep. The measurements reported by the researchers were consistent with these subjective responses because they used both testing and subjective analysis with the studies. According to the actual data taken by the researchers, the glycine group had a longer duration of deep sleep, fewer nighttime awakenings, and significantly shorter time from sleep onset than the placebo group. Moreover, those subjects who took glycine were significantly more awake, and it showed better cognitive performance when they woke back up. They were actually given a memory test in the middle of the day afterwards to kind of gauge these scores and their feelings. In a follow-up in 2012, another study showed cognitive benefits from glycine supplementation lasted for several days after the end of the experiment. And so for all these reasons, if you're looking for some sleep help, magnesium glycine could be a very powerful combo for you. A lot of people don't like melatonin. I am a fan of melatonin. I don't want to talk poorly on it for myself, but some people find that it is it's a hormone, and messing with hormones can be a little bit scary. Other people who have underlying conditions like seizures or other things may not want to consume melatonin. That would be something I would recommend you speak with your doctor about. But something safe and usable is magnesium glycinate. So if you want to check out the one from Revive, we do have a coupon code, and I should say that I got this bottle for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship if you do use that coupon. But hopefully this video was helpful, informative, educational, and could help you be a little bit more informed before you go purchasing your product. So as always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.